Hey everybody, IcyCat here. The technical test server is now live, and it is a perfect time to get a look at the changes to the map Clubhouse. The level has been completely changed in several key sites, and we're going to take a closer look at everything that's been altered next. Let's start by taking a look at the top of the map here. One obvious thing that jumps out to us is that the upper two sections of the map have now been joined in the middle. But if we look around, we can see some other differences. We have a missing trapdoor over here in this section, and then over here where we used to have the weight room area, there is another missing trapdoor. Over at the top of the logistics office, we have a trapdoor, but it's moved location. It's now no longer kind of in the middle there, it's up in the corner. Let's take a look at the first of our changed areas, and this is going to be the garage. Let's spin it around here so you can see we no longer have that ladder anymore. There is now a stairway. Let's see what this looks like in game. So we can see that that ladder is gone. We have this metal stairway now, and we can get behind here and have a nice cover point if we need it. This is just one more spot to get some cover with. Also, this table area here, it's been kind of beefed up and made a little bit thicker and wider, so that's another cover point that you can use down in this spot here. And if we're looking around, we can see that not much else has changed down on this lower section. So let's just run up above. You can see how smooth that transition is to go up the stairs. And we've got this window here that was never here before. Also, another change, that drone vent is gone. You can no longer shoot defenders in the feet if they're up here on the catwalk from the other side. That is all blocked up now. So now let's go take a look at our overhead map view again. This is the CCTV room, and then beyond that is the cash room and the stairwell that comes up from below. And we're going to take a look at that. Again, looking at this, it doesn't look like a lot has changed, but as we get into the details, we'll see that there are significant differences. So here we are in CCTV. This is pretty much the same. We've got some slight texture differences though, but we can still see over the kennels area. But as we step into the stairwell section, we've got some changes that we can notice. And the first is that this guardrail here used to have some gaps between the panels that you could easily see between, and now you really can't. There is a tiny little pixel peak you can find here. Maybe you shoot somebody in the toe or something, I guess. Not super useful, but you used to be able to shoot around that railing a lot more, and now you really can't. The wall on the side there is still the same. And then we've got this window here that overlooks that area. It's still there, but we don't have that open area anymore. That's all a brick wall. And then that window there is also closed up. So some minor differences there. Now we can see texture differences here. The walls are painted differently. The bricks are more, kind of like a painted coat covering on there. And we've got some better cover points here. This table is very solid and thick. We can use this as legitimate cover for any of the incoming angles here that we can get shot from. And then we've got this table here. It's set up as more of an L shape with some solid metal walls against it. And that window is blocked up, so you can't see through that anymore. And if you can kind of get behind some of these, you can get some angles to help you out. Now let's take a look at what this room looks like on the overhead map. This is the connecting room. This used to be the open rooftop area. And it's now kind of like this room that's under construction, and you can see the way it sort of connects with the previous areas that it used to link up with. And we're just going to take a closer look at how that connects, like up there with the logistics office, and then down with some of these other sections here, as well as that window that we can see on screen. So just for a point of reference, this is how it connects back over to the master bedroom. We'll take a look at that in a second. And over here, this soft wall will look into the cash room. That's where we just were. Then we've got this window. So this is the new window here that we can see out of. And if we take a look there, that's the other cash room window that we were looking at just a second ago. That's the area to get over to the master bedroom. And then back here, this links up with the back of the logistics office. So this would be where we were previously standing on the outside, but now it's interior. This wall here is going to be very important. When you come up this ladder from the junkyard spawn, this is now the only wall that you can get into. It is a soft wall and you can breach that because this window is now bricked up. So this is a fast way to get into this connecting section is through there. We also have this trapdoor on the floor here, which is a new one that opens up into the bar projector area. Back to the overhead map again, we'll take a look at the master bedroom section. Frankly, not a lot has changed here other than some texture and lighting work. And I'm just going to show you the way this looks. The only major differences are, this window is of course now blocked off. The one on the right is still open, but the left one is sealed up. Otherwise, everything is kind of the same as we know it. Coming into the bathroom here, everything's pretty much similar. The only major difference is this wall back here. You can see that now leads to that connecting room. But as we go back here into the logistics office, we can see that this trapdoor is now in a different spot. It used to be here, and now it's back over here in this corner. And we can use this as a cover point, back here if anybody's coming through that wall that goes to the connecting section, and just to see what that looks like from that other side. So that looks back into that same room we were just in. Now let's take a look down the hall and go over to the weight room section. Again, nothing is really changing here. This is all the same except for one key difference. And if you look up on the ceiling, that trapdoor is no longer there. You cannot get into the room that way. Our next big change is going to be downstairs in the bar. It has now been divided into 3 distinct, smaller sections to make things more manageable. So let's begin by taking a look at this from the entrance to the bar and just go ahead and walk through into this first room. So you'll notice right away that big dividing wall between the sections there. And then on the right side here, we are greeted with that trapdoor that again was the connecting room from above. And the layout here is mostly the same with the exception of this dividing wall. And you can get up on here and, maybe get somebody as they come through the door. But these sections are divided off by this wall, but you can still toss grenades over the top of this or, use that in other ways, throwing gadgets over, what have you. The middle section, again, it's not real different over on this part of it. That's kind of the same. It looked like maybe you could get up here to sort of see over this wall, but you really can't. Just useful for tossing things over. And then you'll notice the back corner of the wall here. This is now a soft breach wall, and this opens up to a new area that connects up with the strip club hall. We'll get to that in just a second, as well as the bathroom there that you could see for a split second. The pool room section is its own little area. We've got this little half wall here for cover. And then when we come here, we can get a good line of sight on that window. In the pool room area itself, this part is the same, but then the back half of the room is different. So we've still got that trapdoor up above. This leads up to the weight room. So that is still the same angle as it always used to be. Then back here in this part of the room, these are non-destructible walls. So these are solid. You can use those as good cover points. You can even, like you used to be able to do, come here and get an angle on that window if you want. But then this back hall is where things start to get a little different. This is where we connect with Strip Club and the new bathroom. Here's the other side of that breach wall, and then we step into the first floor toilet room. So this is a new connecting area and allows you to rotate around the bar area a lot more easily and to get into Strip Club through a different route. As you can see there, it links up with that kitchen area and the stairs. We can also see into the back Strip Club hallway and just sort of, use this as a interesting rotation point and a really long line of sight down that hallway if we want to use something like that. So this is going to really change things up for how we move around the map a lot. Going from here, now we're going to check out Strip Club real quick. Not much has changed except for this interesting texture work. The walls have been painted in a slightly different way. That's kind of a cool thing. But otherwise in here, it's more or less pretty much the same as it used to be. Maybe some slight texture refinements and lighting changes. But other than that, the layout hasn't really changed. Strip Club is pretty much just the way it's always been. The next really big change is going to be the supply room off the garage. And you're going to see right here, we've got this stairwell that's now been put into the floor. And this is going to go down into the basement. And we'll follow this down here. You can see it connects into that HVAC blue tunnel, gives us strong access into the armory really quickly. So coming from the garage, we'll just step through here. And you can see you can go right down these stairs. And this is going to put us very quickly into the blue hallway. If we look, we can see this links up with the garage because there's that ladder from that garage pit. And then back over into the armory section that we can see into that. And then the other side of this, a little texture remapping on that. But the other side of that wall is the church. And then up above, we have a trapdoor. You can see we can get in here really fast now, but you got to be careful. Hopping that rail, this is a really good spot to put a frost trap and get somebody that's not paying attention. But if you do come in here, you're going to get quick access into some of these rooms. In fact, let's just show you what a dead sprint will get you from outside, provided that the window has already been open, maybe you shot it open on your way, and you can just get in here real fast, and you are already looking into the armory just that quickly. It's a big change from the way it used to be. You can get in there so much faster. Now, there's some interesting things about this. These little gaps here, you can barely see them, but they provide you some pixel peeks down into this area and allow you to be covered. So as an attacker, you can come into this position and get some interesting lines of sight. You can get people on rotation, but if you open up the wall into the church area, you're going to be able to see pretty far back using that pixel peek. And I'm going to show you what that looks like right here. So let's go ahead and blow open that wall. And we're just going to get, right where those are going. So you can kind of see into here. That's the floor of the church. Now let's get low and check out this pixel peek. It doesn't look like much, but you can definitely see all the way back there. And I'm going to ping this just so you can get an idea of where those shots are hitting and how far back we can see. This will actually allow us to see all the way back into that back room that's even further from the church itself. That is insane that you can get that kind of an angle. But you can also get a little bit different of an angle. It's not much, but if somebody happens to be on the other side of that table, you can peek here and get a pixel peek again, just looking, just right. And again, it depends on where you've placed your hole in the wall there. But you can see that brick wall right there. That's going to be the brick wall to, from this direction anyway, the right of that doorway that's there, right up next to that cooler across on the other side of that dining room table. And if anybody is in there trying to look up this hallway to try to get somebody as they vault over or something like that, I mean, this is where those shots are landing. Right here, you can see the bullet holes in the wall. That's where those shots are landing. That is an insane angle because on that pixel peek, you just look at this. We're going to look back at this. If you're a defender, you can barely see that slit right there, and people are shooting at you through there. They're going to be completely protected and covered while doing so. Real quick, let's take a look at the trapdoor that sits above that area. So if you were to blow this, you could watch people as they come in from this area, or maybe as an attacker, you can take out any defenders trying to rotate through that section. And, you can still see the same areas you always used to. So that's armory and back behind the HVAC machinery. And so that's all the same, but this gives you a really nice angle on that hall if anybody's trying to rotate through it. Now let's take a real quick look at the armory itself. Not much has changed in here from the layout, but we do have some reworked textures, on the crates. We've got this blue striping that kind of goes around the wall, but my favorite feature is the tunnel area is now this like caved in section of cinder block instead of an actual door frame. It is so cool. I love that they did that. Now the tunnel itself hasn't changed at all. That is completely the same. In fact, most other areas of the maps have gotten some minor texture changes, but really haven't altered too much. There are maybe a few sections where a table has better coverage or something's been moved to be a better cover position, but it hasn't like altered the layout of the room substantially. And that's really what this map buff has done. It's created some new ways that we're going to go about it, pushing on some of these objectives, rotating through the maps. Just the way that we think we know this level is now going to change. And in some ways, it'll feel familiar. And in other ways, it's going to feel like a completely new map. You can still apply a lot of what you know, but you're also going to get bit in the butt by the things you're not expecting because of the new ways that people can flow through the map and get to other areas. Similarly, you may be used to a certain approach and now you'll find that it's just blocked off. You can't get to it. Like if you're up there on that roof with those connected sections, what you used to be able to do to get into the master bedroom or the cash room is no longer going to be the same approach. These new map buffs are super exciting, and the dev team said that they're going to try to do one of these to an existing map about once every season. They're not committing to that as like a promise. It's not guaranteed. They just said that that's their goal, is to deliver a new one of these map buffs to us where they overhaul an existing map about once a season or so. I'm not sure if that will be the case next season because we are getting the Hereford complete rework. I mean, that map isn't just changed in a few spots. It is like completely reskinned, redone. The layout is completely different. So I hope next season will also include a map buff, but I don't know for sure because we're already getting existing map rework. So what do you guys think of these changes now that you've gotten a chance to see the detailed layout? Do you like what they've done with it, or do you think they still could have tried something different? Let me know down in the comments below, or share with me over at IcyCat25 on either Facebook or Twitter. Now, if you haven't already, please do like and subscribe. Make sure you click that notification icon so you're alerted as soon as I make new content available. Thanks a lot for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.